Right, now we've done that, I'm going to show you a nice, cheap, easy way to make a glitter frame to go under one of your layers when you're actually layering on cards or boxes or anything else. Now, this is actually a technique that I saw, I can't remember when it was now, a couple of weeks ago, I think, maybe even longer. Basically what we're going to do is I've got some red sticky strip and I've already stuck it onto the size of the card that I want. There is a gap, which you can see just there, which doesn't matter because I'm just going to fill that in with some two-way glue. Now the reason I'm using two-way glue is because it dries sticky. So I'm just going to, that's it, just dab that in that hole there. Then I'm going to peel these strips off. Oops. Let's put that in there. And as you can see, I've got a pot of glitter already, which is this one. Stampin' Glitter in silver. But I've put it in a big pot only because it's easier to use that way. In a craft tray, once you've taken all your tape off around the edges, just get your glitter and sprinkle it all over your sticky tape, double-sided sticky tape, sticky strip, whichever one you've used. Now you can see I've actually put quite a lot on there, but now I've got just a empty pot, but this has got a flat lid on it, which is why I'm using it. And I'm just going to push that glitter into that double-sided tape that I've got on my card to make sure I've got a really good coverage and to make sure it's all stuck nice and firm. You are going to get some fall off. You always do when you're using glitter. You can't really get around it, but at least doing it like this, it means you don't make as much mess because you've pushed it on quite hard. Now give it a little tap. And you can see you do get a bit glittery, so be warned. But look, isn't that clever? Let me just give it a flick. Hang on. I'm just making my carpet nice and glittery, making it look all pretty. There we go. There, that's got most of it off. Just got rid of all the sort of loose bits, get it off the edges, and there you go, you see. So when I actually put my paper on top or cardstock on top, whatever it is I'm going to be using on top of there, all the edges are going to have the glitter on them, so it will actually look like there's glitter paper underneath it, but that has cost me a fraction of what glitter paper would actually cost. So best tip in the world, that one, how to save yourself a fortune. Alright, now I'm just going to have to stop the camera again while I clear this up, and I'll be back in a sec. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to decorate the tea lights. Now this is what they're going to end up looking like, well nearly, because I haven't finished the top bit yet, but this is what we're going to be doing. And what I've done is I've got some silver ribbon. Now this is just some that I had hanging around in my craft room. So I've got some silver ribbon, put my teeth back in, and I've got some Bermuda Bay sequin trim. And what I've done on the back of the Bermuda Bay, I've put some thin sticky strip, the red sticky tape, super strong one, this one, but the one I've used for this is 4mm wide. All right, so I've stuck that on the back of the Bermuda Bay, and on the back of the ribbon I put some double-sided tape. Okay, now my tea lights measure about 1/2 inch. Yeah, about 1/2 inch, which is roughly what my ribbon measures. You may decide you want to use a narrower ribbon or even no ribbon. It's up to you really. But I think covering the tea light in the ribbon just makes it look really special. So I'm just going to try and get it straight. I think that's on the edge there. I'm going to go right the way round. And oh. There we go. So I'm just overlapping it very slightly on the end. Not a huge amount, but obviously enough to hold it. Just snip that off. Whoopsie daisy, just give it a roll on there, and then that will help to stick it down nicely. That's it. Right, then where did I put the pokey tool? There it is, because I can never get the backs off this tape. I can't do it with the pokey tool either, look. It just doesn't want to come off at all. Oh, come off. Yes, I've done it. About time, really. Okay, where did that end go? I probably had it right in front of me there, didn't I? There it is. So I'm going to put this about halfway. So I stuck my ribbon right at the bottom, so it's not quite at the top of the tea light, only because I couldn't get the exact width. But I'm going to put the Bermuda Bay sequin trim about halfway on that ribbon. I did actually think of putting the sequin trim onto the ribbon first before I put it on the tea light, but I wasn't entirely happy with the way the ends would have met up, so I thought if I do it this way I'm going to get a neater finish on the end. There we go. Let's just stick that down, and that little bit that's sticking out, I'm just going to trim that off just a bit, and then that little bit that's left over I'm going to tuck under that sequin if I can get it to go. Is it going to go? I might have actually left a bit too much of it. Ah, no, there it is. There we go. There. See? So where I've tucked it under, it's now given a really neat finish, and you can hardly see the end of that at all. Alright. Now, do you remember we made holes in our snowflakes? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So now I'm going to put, they're going to go on to the top there, like that, and then I've got some silver sequin trim somewhere. Hang on, let me just cut a bit of that off. Get that with my scissors. I'll cut another bit. Oops. I would cut another bit if I could get to it without falling over everything. Right, there we go. Let's put some more. Where's the really thin one gone? There it is, it's over there. I'm just going to put some of this really narrow tape on the back of this one as well. Don't really need nowhere near as much of what I've pulled off here, but never mind, it'll get used. Looks really nice on the Christmas bits and pieces, this trim, so the fact that I'm sticking the tape on the back just means that when I come to use it next time, it'll already be ready for me, and I haven't got to worry about getting it sorted out at the same time. What it does mean though is that I've got to try and get the end of it off again, doesn't it? Oh dear, never mind. I'll do that in a sec. Now before I do that, I need to get my snowflakes in the right place on the top of my candles. And the way I'm going to do that is, whoops, let's bring in my glue dots. I am going to put some glue dots underneath the edges of my snowflakes. Whoops. I'm going to put a few on only because I don't want them to move, and it just makes sure they stay nice and still. This one. You see, when you close this box up, obviously your candles are going to be hanging almost, rather than being flat. And what you don't want to happen is that you open your lovely box up and, oh dear, I stuck to my fingers, all your decorations have fallen off and gone all in a muddle, because it will just ruin it, won't it? So let's just make sure. Oh look, I did it first time, that one. Put our dots on. I'm going to have to move that one I just did because it was a bit wonky. It's because I'm rushing now. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. Get out of the way. Just fold that over a bit so that it's not going to be sticking out. That's better. Right. Oop. Don't know what that was on there. Let's put that. I want to get it nice and central, so I'm just going to have to tip it up a minute so I can see what I'm doing. There. Right, there's one. There's another one stuck to my finger. Oh, come off. That's it. There's two. And three. And number 4. Right, there we go. Now you can see there's a gap in between the top of the candle and the little flame bit. That's where the silver, what's it called? Sequin trim comes in. What's the stuff called again? And now we're going to have another fight to get the backing off of the tape. When you've wrestled with your sequin trim, if you put it right up close to that candle and then just turn your candle, and as you're turning your candle, just push it down, whoops, and your light will come on. That was weird. But just keep going round. I must have lent on the switch underneath, mustn't I? Keep pushing it round all the way until you meet the end. There we go. And then I'm not letting go of that bit there. Just, where does it need to come off? I think it's the next one actually. Oop. There we go. Let's just snip that off. Bring it round and tuck it in. There we go. Whoopsie daisy, that's gone a bit wibbly wobbly, that one. Hang on, let me turn that off again. There. Can you see? So it's really nicely covered that hole that was in the middle there. Right, let's do the others. There, okay, so now we have got our beautifully decorated little tea lights. Let's just get those sequins out of the way. Get rid of that. That's it. And now if we bring our base back in again, our tea lights are going to be sitting on there like that. Doesn't that look divine? How pretty is that looking? Oh, I'm really, really pleased with it. I'm so happy with the way that's coming out. It's looking brilliant, even if I do say so myself. Now then, to stick your tea lights on, obviously you have to be wary because there's a switch underneath. So what I would suggest is whatever you stick them on with, make sure it's something that comes off again. Now I, on my ones, am going to be using some blue tack, or in this case white tack, because my candles are white, so I'm going for white tack. I suppose if you had used lots of darker blues, you could go for a different, you could use for the blue tack, but I'm going to be using white tack. Let's just get it back to its stickiness again, because it's been sitting on my shelf for a little while. There we go. And the ones that I saw online of these, it did worry me a bit, I must admit, because not only had they used candles, like real flame candles, on cardboard base, because they'd done it the same way as this, except, like I say, with actual candles rather than battery operated ones. But just to add to it, in the centre was the matches, which to me is a bit stupid. Sorry people, but I really think that was a very dangerous move, and anybody who makes these, please don't use real candles, and most certainly don't go putting matches in the centre. Now if we fold this up now, I'm trying to get my hands around it so that I can show you. Can you see how it all folds in really nicely, and we have a gap in the middle where you can see our final snowflake, our last looking very, very lonely snowflake. Now we could put another candle in there, or what I was planning on doing is actually putting some Christmas trees in there, which you might look at that and think, how on earth are you going to get Christmas trees in there? Well, I am going to show you how to make a 3D Christmas tree, which you can either use in here, or if you wanted to, you could just use on its own. It's entirely up to you. Now, because I am doing it so that you could use it in here or on its own, I'm not going to be showing you in this exact video how to do them. All right, I'm going to be showing you that in a different video, but it will be immediately after this one, so you will be able to see it easily. So don't worry too much about it. But as I'm not doing that at the moment, I'm just going to move that to one side, because we need to make the lid. Oops, I'm just trying to clear the decks a bit. We need to make the lid that's going to go over the top. Now to do that, I am still here, I'm just reaching into my shelf. We need another piece of 12 by 12 Whisper White cardstock, but I'm going to cut it down, and this time not to 10.5, I'm actually cutting it to 10 5/8. Okay, so 10 5/8, and we're going to have a 10 5/8 square. So whereas we did the other one 10.5 inches square, this one we're doing 10 5/8 square. Okay. Bring your Simply scoreboard back in again, and your score tool. And what we're going to do is, we are going to be scoring at 3.5, but not at 7. We're going to score at 3.5, then turn it and score at 3.5. Turn it again, score at 3.5, turn it again and score at 3.5. And the reason we've done that is because that extra 1/8 that we had is now falling within the centre, and that's going to mean that it will fit over the top of the box that we've already made. Whereas if we'd done 3.5 and 7, you would have ended up with a 3.5 inch gap here and a 3 5/8 inch gap here. All right, so by doing it this way, it's just made sure that we have got enough room all the way around so that when we actually put the lid on the box, it will fit perfectly. Okay, move your scoreboard out of the way, grab your bone folder. Now we need to fold and burnish all our score lines. Can you see where it's not quite matching? If it matches, you've either scored wrong or cut wrong. Okay, so just be warned, be aware, be wary, be warned. Yeah, that's what I mean. Be warned. Okay. So, getting a bit brain dead now, I am. Right, grab scissors. So now we need to cut a box. Right, so we are going to go straight down this one here. Now I'm actually going to go round in a circle so that I get a nice even thickness all the way round the box. So you cut, turn, cut again. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm cutting just inside my score line. But I'm going to cut and turn. So I've actually cut one and then turned it, cut one and turned it, cut one and turn it. I'm just trying to keep that nice and straight. There we go. All right, so that we've got a nice equal thickness going all the way around the box. Now we just need to notch these flaps. So the bit where you've cut just inside that line and it's left the ridge from where you actually did your score line, we're going to cut just into that to create our notch. Okay, like that. There you go. You can see it if I do that, can't you? And we're going to do that on all of them. Right the way round. I'm just throwing those in my little desk bin as I'm going along. And then the last one. There we go. Right, so when we actually stick this together, we are going to be sticking it like that. Okay, so that will fold round, and then the next one will fold round, and the next one is going to fold round, and then that last one will fold inside. So your actual box is going to be going together like that, which in fact makes a really nice basket. I'm going to turn that into something else actually, I think. Yeah, I'll do that on another video for you. Right, but that's how we're going to be sticking our box together. All right, so as it's a box, use your glue so that it helps with the strengthening of it. And we go all the way around the edge. Get it on your finger, that's almost mandatory when I'm gluing. There we go. That's that one. And oh, here we go. Back to front again. Oh dear. Whoops. Dropped it. There. That's it. Try not to get glue everywhere. I'm very good at getting glue everywhere. But if you can, try not to. Where's my bone folder gone? I like you to use my bone folder when I'm doing this, just to make sure that I get a nice even distribution of the glue under there, and also it means that I can get that edge stuck nice and firm. Can you see that? Nice and tight. Alright, so you need to go around gluing all of these flaps. It does get a bit tricky as you go around, as you probably already just saw, but oh dear. If I move those out of the way, that will probably be a bit more helpful, won't it? It is worth it though. I always think if you're going to spend time making something, try and do it to the best of your ability. And if you can honestly say that you've done your very best in whatever it is you're doing, then that's good enough for anybody. If you haven't done your best, well, more for you really. But always try and do the very best you can, even if it means you end up taking much longer than anybody else. Makes no difference to anyone else. Does to you though, and whatever it is you're making. Now I'm just going to have to tuck that in, I think, in a minute when I glue this one in. But my box is already much stronger, which is exactly what I want it to do, because obviously with the candles it does make the whole thing a little bit heavy. And the Whisper White card, unfortunately, the 12-inch one, isn't as thick as the standard card, so I need to just make sure I've got enough strength in it, and by doubling up on the sides like this, it helps to make a really sturdy lid, which is perfect for what we're trying to achieve. And we're going to be making it even stronger still anyway when we put our layers on the outside. There we go, stick that in. Right, now the last one is going to be tricky because obviously we've got it like that, so you're going to just have to do your best, stick your hand in there, get the glue on those edges as well as you can. Whoopsie daisy. It's really hard to see. I'll just plop a load in. That'll be fine. I'll get there. I'll glue it. Right, let's just, oops, put that on there. Stick it all down. Make it all nice and solid. Oopsie daisy. There we go. There. Now that's already, although it's got a bit of a flimsy lid on it, that's already a really strong little box. So if we bring this back in, bring our candles back, fold them up. This is the only tricky bit really, is actually getting them in the box. Especially when it's all a bit floppy because it's a bit wet still. But there we go, look, and that will sit perfectly on top of that with a perfect fit on it. All right, come out. That's it. So as I said, well worth spending a little bit of time and a little bit of effort making it right. Let's just move that back out of the way again. Now to decorate a lid, what I want to do is I want to make this look kind of like a present, but also I don't want the recipient to be able to guess that this is what's inside. So I'm actually going to make it look a little bit different, and what I've done is I've made my silver frames that we were doing earlier, put the backing on. Now this is Pool Party on the back, and this Pool Party measures I think it's 3 1/4. Let's do it on my grid paper. Yep, so the Pool Party measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 because our box is roughly 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 square. The glimmer, or the faux glimmer paper I should say, measures 3 by 3, and then the Designer Series paper, this lovely pattern paper, which is the Home for Christmas paper, this one measures 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. All right, and these are going to be stuck on the outside of the box like that. All right, Now, I'm going to stick these on, and then I'm going to come back and show you what we're doing with the top. All right? Doing it this way, I hope you don't mind me keep whipping off camera, but I just think if I keep doing everything on camera, you're going to end up with an incredibly long film, because it's not a complicated project once you actually get started on it, but it does take quite a while to do, and I don't think it's very fair to actually leave you sitting there watching me gluing, okay? So if you want to watch me gluing, that's fine. Leave me another comment and tell me. If you don't want to watch me gluing, that's fine too. I'll be back in a bit. I'm just editing this bit into the video because I finished all the filming and put it all away. Well, apart from my messy mat, as you can see. And then I suddenly realised I hadn't done one of the most important bits. So I'm coming back to this in just a sec. But what I didn't tell you to do, which is actually quite relevant really, is to stick panels on the back of your base, because if you don't, it's going to be a little bit too flimsy. So I finished filming last night and put it all away and thought, oh bugger. So I just stuck these on with glue last night and I've just put them on. I use glue because, as I've said before, the actual glue will help to make your card stronger, which is what we need, because obviously the candles are going to be a little bit heavy. But I've put them on. The centre panel is 3 1/4 square, 3 1/4 inches square. But these panels on the side, because of the curve that's on the circle, they're 3 1/4 wide, but only 3 inches deep. All right, so when you're actually putting these ones on, just be a bit wary of that, because where you've got your curve there, you're not going to get a full size 3 1/4 inches on. Okay, it's only going to go so far. I feel better now I've done that. Right, I will carry on with the rest of the film now. Okay. Right, stuck all the panels on. So they're all on there nicely. I've put some dimensionals underneath there just to make sure it stands out a little bit, just to help it look a little bit special. Okay. And something I was just going to show you there, which I forgot. This layer here, the actual paper, the pattern paper in the middle, that on the sides measures 2 3/4 inches square, but the one on the top, just to make it stand out, and because to tell the truth I'd run out, is actually 2 1/2 inches square. But because it's only the one on the top, I think it looks all right, doesn't it? Looks fine. Now, and I said that I was going to make an ornament thingy, majiggy, to go in the middle there, but I've decided, I've changed my mind, because it's going to take me too long to do. And you're probably going to want to get on and get this made and get it finished. And if I end up spending forever and a day making an ornament, it's going to waste too much time. So what I'm going to do, I've decorated another tea light. And I've got some of our silver cord, which, by the way, if you put some blue tack on the top like that, or white tack, you can just stick the end on like that and it stops it all unravelling. A little tip for you there. So I've pulled off just a long bit. How much is that? That's probably going to be, let's see, 1, whoops, got it all tied up now, 2, 3, about 3 foot, 36 inches, and just whacked the tripod there. Sorry about that. Had to be done, didn't it, really? I haven't done it at all. Oh yes I did, because I pulled the wire on the camera. Oh, come off, it's all gotten in the muddle now, look. Right, I'm just going to stick that in the middle there, in no particular order, pattern or anything else. I do want it to look a bit higgledy-piggledy. Let's just stretch it out a little bit. I've had to put the light on as well because it was getting a bit dark in here. There, how's that? Come on, stretch out for me. go in a bit of a muddly mess. Do you know what? I'm going to do it on my hand. It'd be much easier, won't it? There. That didn't work at all. Yeah, that'd do. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. I just want it to just sit like that. And then I've put some dimensionals on the back of the remaining snowflake, and I'm going to put that on top, hopefully, anyway. And kind of, hang on, let's just sort of just bring it in, tuck it in a little bit, I think. There we go. Put that end in. Right, I just want to tuck that, the end of the cord in. So I'm just going to tuck that under there, like that, before I stick the other side down. And the dimensionals that are underneath that snowflake are going to hold the cord in place for me. I hope. Wait. I'll open it up in a couple of days' time and it would have all fallen apart. No, we're all right. That's fine. That's quite solid in there. Now let's just get some more blue tack. Blue tack. Where are you? It is stuck on my desk somewhere. Rummage. Oh, where is it? I had a big lump of it just now. Oh, there it is. I'll just pull a bit more off. There we go. I'm going to stick that centre candle in. And then you'll be able to see it all looking pretty. Now, unfortunately, I'm not... Actually, I was going to say you're not going to be able to see it very well if I put the lights on, put the candles on, but you might be able to because it's getting a bit dark outside, and maybe if I put them on and turn the lights off. I know it will work on a, if I take a picture of it, let me put that one on before I put it down. There. Now, if I know I can pull these off, but I'm just going to just stick my fingers underneath it, just to switch them on for the moment, for the time being. But I would suggest when you do it, obviously it might be better to take them off. Right, there you go. So they are all switched on. Now let's try turning the light off and see how it looks, shall we? Not bad. You still can't see it. So I'm looking in the camera. I'm looking down on the camera as well. It's not too bad. You can see it fairly well, can't you? I'll put some photos of it on my blog because obviously it will make it much more effective. You can see the full thing, then you can see how beautiful it does actually look, because I mean I'm looking at it obviously from the actual side is what I meant, and it looks stunning. It looks really pretty. I'm so pleased with that. Right, let's just fold it up because I want you to see. Can you see how they all fit in there nicely still? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? And then we can put the lid on. So if you actually make this as a gift for somebody, oops, go on there, that's it, sorry about that, I was trying to see what I was doing. But if you make this as a gift for somebody, they've got it down and they try and pull the lid off. Ah, come off, that's it. They pull the lid off, they will get this, ready, steady, ta-da! Now how gorgeous is that? Don't you think that would be pretty? Make a lovely little gift, wouldn't it? I think that's come out really well, even if I do say so myself. So let's put the light back on. There you go. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have fun making one of these. I certainly had fun making it. I think they look really lovely. And all the products that I've used to make this is going to be on my website, www.thecraftyspark.co.uk, apart from the silver ribbon, because like I said, that came out of my junk box, so to speak. But all the details are going to be on there with all the measurements and all the bits and pieces that you're going to need. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have fun with it, and I will see you again next time. Until then, bye bye.